The contested outer system's primary transit hub had the specific, ambient quality of a space that was simultaneously too many things to be entirely any one of them. Civilian transit facility, commercial exchange point, intelligence significant location, the specific kind of space that existed at the intersection of the ordinary and the significant and that had, in the existing at that intersection. The particular character of somewhere that required you to be ordinary while paying complete attention. Cale Renner had been in spaces like this for 7 years. He was 31 years old, an Accord intelligence field operative, and he moved through the transit hub's civilian flow with the practiced quality of someone who had been performing the ordinary in spaces that required the ordinary for long enough that the performance and the ordinary had become continuous. Not indistinguishable, he knew the difference, and the knowing was part of the professional quality, but continuous in the way that long practice made things continuous, the way that the work and the person doing the work became a single quality of presence. Beside him, Commander Zara Solon was performing the ordinary with the specific, disciplined quality of someone who was very good at the performance, and who was, in the very good at it, applying a distinct kind of attention to the applying. She was 29 years old, 12 years of Varath field service, 14 documented operations. Cale had read the full intelligence profile before the assignment briefing, had read it with the comprehensive quality that 7 years had built, and had found in the reading the specific, careful language of documentation that was accurate about the facts, and that conveyed, in the accumulation of the facts, something the language was too careful to state directly. She was the person the Varath sovereignty sent when the objective had to be completed. She moved through the transit hub's civilian flow with the specific, disciplined quality of someone performing the ordinary with full professional commitment. And she had the Varath physical characteristic, the pointed ears. Sharp and precise through dark hair in the severe practical style of active field service. And she moved with the quality of someone for whom every space was assessed upon entry, and for whom the assessment never entirely concluded. They had been working in joint operation for 4 days. The first 3 days had produced the specific, calibrated quality of a working partnership that was effective in the specific way of two people whose different capabilities. His intelligence methodology, her operational field knowledge, produced something in combination that neither produced alone. He read the intelligence environment. She navigated the operational one. The combination worked with the clean quality of something that functioned well without requiring explanation of the functioning. They had not spoken with any quality beyond the professional. This was the 4th day, and the 4th day's operation was the transit hub. The specific, delicate work of moving through a civilian space while gathering what the civilian space contained. Work that required the ordinary performance and the comprehensive attention simultaneously. The particular professional quality of someone present on 2 levels at once. He was managing both levels with the 7 years quality. He was doing this when it happened. The floor panel was the minor infrastructure failure that transit hubs accumulated across their operational lives. The slightly raised edge where the panel's installation had shifted in the structure's settling. The specific, small irregularity that was invisible to the transit flow's ordinary attention. And that was, to someone moving with the ordinary flow's quality rather than with the operative's attention to the physical environment. Simply a floor panel that was not entirely flush with the panels beside it. She was moving with the ordinary flow's quality. Her leading foot caught the edge. The stumble was brief, compressed. The specific, rapid quality of someone whose reflexes were at the extreme end of the available range, and whose extreme reflexes managed the caught foot in approximately 1.2 seconds. The stumble converted into a controlled recovery, with the efficiency of someone whose body had been trained to manage the unexpected with the speed that the unexpected required. The recovery complete, the operational presentation restored, the 1.2 seconds concluded. Cale had been 3 steps behind her. He had seen all of it. He had seen it with the 7 years quality, the complete, involuntary attention of someone whose professional formation was the noticing of the unguarded moment, the window that opened before the management could close it, the thing the person didn't know they were showing. He had been in 7 years of unguarded moments, and he had noticed all of them with the quality that the professional formation had built. The 1.2 seconds were the most significant unguarded moment he had observed in 7 years. Not because the stumble was operationally significant, not because the recovery was imperfect, The recovery was complete, the operational presentation restored, the window closed. Because what the 1.2 seconds contained was Commander Zara Solon, the person the Varath sovereignty sent when the objective had to be completed, the 14 documented operations and the galaxy-scale reputation and the full intelligence profile's careful language. In the 1.2 seconds, entirely and completely, and without any of the professional quality or the operational quality or the management quality. The person rather than the function. The person who had caught her foot on a floor panel in a transit hub. The word arrived before the management engaged. He said it out loud, not loudly. The specific, involuntary quality of a word that had crossed from internal to external without the filter engaging. The way that accurate things sometimes said themselves in the presence of something that was. In the specific, genuine way of unguarded things, unexpectedly and entirely charming. Cute, he said. She had completed the recovery. She turned. She looked at him with the operational quality, the rapid, comprehensive assessment quality that he had been reading for 4 days, and that he could read now with the accuracy of 4 days of proximate professional observation. And then her face went red. Not the managed quality of mild social discomfort. Not the performed quality of someone who was choosing to communicate embarrassment for strategic purposes. The complete, involuntary, undeniable quality of someone whose face had gone the specific, deep color of genuine, total embarrassment. The involuntary physiological mechanism operating at full capacity, visible in the complete, even quality of the color that had nothing of the managed or the performed or the strategic about it. He looked at it. He had read the Varath physiological documentation in the intelligence database, had read it in the standard preparation for the joint assignment, the comprehensive reading of everything available that 7 years had made the standard. The documentation was specific. The Varath blushing mechanism existed, the physiological architecture was present, and the emotional regulation framework that the Varath civilization had developed across its history was sufficiently advanced that the mechanism was not triggered in adult Varath by the standard range of social and emotional stimuli. The database's full historical range of documented observation contained no recorded instances. She was completely red. She turned away from him with the speed of someone executing a tactical decision under time pressure, and she continued moving through the transit hub's civilian flow with the operational quality restored, the professional presentation back, the management back, the 14 documented operations quality back. So rapidly that the rapidity of the restoration was itself the evidence of the effort the restoration required. He watched her move away through the civilian flow. He stood in the transit hub for a moment with the 7 years quality and the one word he had said without the filter engaging, and the complete, involuntary red that the word had produced in someone whose species had not, by the database's full historical range, produced that color before. He filed it under, the most significant unguarded moment I have observed in 7 years of noticing unguarded moments. The stimulus outside the standard range. The physiological mechanism operating where the emotional regulation framework had never previously permitted it to operate. The management restored with the speed of someone who understood the significance of what had been visible, and who was, in the restoration, protecting the significance. He gave it the time it required. The operation continued through the transit hub and into the outer system's secondary intelligence target with the professional quality of 2 people whose joint operation required the proximate work, and whose proximate work had, in the 4 days and the 1.2 seconds and the 1 word, acquired the specific additional ambient character of 2 people who were in the professional quality and who were, underneath the professional quality, in something else. He read it across the following days with the 7 years quality. He read, the operational precision deployed at slightly above the level the operation's complexity required. The professional register maintained at the full capacity that ensured the professional register was the only register present. He read the specific, immediate quality of her attention in his immediate proximity, different from her attention in the operational environment's general assessment. The particular, careful quality of someone monitoring a specific variable. He read the rare instance when their attention arrived at the same point simultaneously and the specific, immediate quality of her looking away. She was managing the memory of being seen in the unguarded moment. He had 7 years of reading that management, and he understood its quality. The management of embarrassment, The social discomfort of having been seen in a moment the person preferred not to be seen in, the work of restoring the preferred presentation. He knew what that management looked like. Her management had a different quality, not defensive, not the protection of a preferred presentation. The quality was protective, the specific quality of someone managing the existence of something that had been revealed, not the embarrassment of having been revealed but the revealed thing itself. The management of something genuine that the 1.2 seconds had shown, and that the management was now protecting with the full capacity of someone who understood that the genuine thing was worth protecting. He went to the database. The Varath physiological and psychological documentation was thorough in the specific way of intelligence databases. Thorough about the known and careful at the edges, the places where the documentation acknowledged the incomplete picture. He read the emotional regulation framework section completely, with the quality of someone reading for the thing the documentation was careful about rather than the thing the documentation was thorough about. He found it in the final paragraph, the documentation structure placed at the section's end, the paragraph that contained the incomplete picture's acknowledgement. The emotional regulation framework's development is calibrated to the standard range of Varath social and emotional stimuli. Stimuli outside the standard range have not been systematically documented. He read the sentence twice. He filed. The management is protective. The mechanism operated because the stimulus was outside the standard range. The stimulus outside the standard range was one word, said without the filter engaging in the transit hub civilian flow in the 1.2 seconds of the unguarded moment. The word was cute. He sat with this for a while with the patient quality of someone who had the significant data point, and who was giving the data point the time and attention the significant thing required before deciding what, if anything, the significant thing required of him. The sixth day produced the complication. It came through the standard collection methodology, two separate sources, acquired through the sixth day's operational movements, independently indicating the same information. The Keth Sovereignty's Outer System Intelligence Network maintained surveillance assets in the contested system's major transit facilities. This was known. It was in the database's operational assessment of the theater, the standard intelligence picture of the surveillance architecture. The surveillance asset in the transit hub had recorded the fourth day's incident, had recorded the stumble, had recorded what followed the stumble. The Keth Intelligence Network's behavioral anomaly processing system had flagged the recording. The flag was in the category that Keth Intelligence used for significant behavioral anomalies in high-value targets. The category that indicated the observation was being assessed for operational relevance. Commander Zara Solon was, by the Keth Intelligence Assessment's criteria, a high-value target of significant operational interest. A behavioral anomaly in a high-value target of significant operational interest was, by the Keth Intelligence methodology, something to be understood. The Keth were going to try to understand it. The transmission protocol of the Keth Outer System Network surveillance assets had a specific, narrow window. The 36-hour cycle during which the behavioral anomaly's full record would be transmitted to the Keth Intelligence Analysis Center. The transmission had not yet occurred. The window was open. Kale assessed this information with the 7 years quality, and then he went to find her. She was in the operations forward position doing the operational assessment with the full, efficient quality she did everything. Comprehensive, precise, the operational quality completely present. She looked at him when he arrived. The sixth day's collection, he said. Yes, she said. The Keth Outer System Network, he said, the operational quality held. The network's standard surveillance architecture is documented in the intelligence baseline, she said. The theater assessment includes the surveillance asset placement. Yes, he said. The transit hub surveillance asset recorded the fourth day. She looked at him. The management was fully deployed, the professional register at full capacity, the operational quality presenting itself with the completeness of someone who had spent 6 days practicing the full deployment. The fourth day's incident is operationally irrelevant, she said. A stumble in a civilian facility. The recovery was complete within the operational window. Yes, he said. The operational objective was not compromised. She looked at him. The Keth filed the observation under behavioral anomalies in high-value targets, he said. The anomaly is not the stumble. The anomaly is what followed the stumble. The management held for a moment. Then it shifted, not broke, not failed. but the specific, slight quality of something that had encountered the thing it was protecting against, and that was, in the encountering, drawing on the additional resource the protecting required. They are going to identify the stimulus, he said. The Keth behavioral anomaly assessment methodology is thorough. They will reconstruct the transit hub observation in detail. The transit hub surveillance record will have the full sequence, the stumble, the recovery, the stimulus, the response. He paused. The stimulus is in the audio record, my voice. She was very still. They will identify the word, he said. She was quiet for a moment. Yes, she said, they will. And they will understand, he said, what the word produced, the physiological mechanism, the full historical range of the Varath behavioral documentation, the anomaly's significance in the context of that range. Yes, she said, it gives them something, he said. Not an operational vulnerability in the standard sense, something specific, something that is yours. That belongs to the person in the 1.2 seconds rather than to the operational profile. He looked at her steadily. That is worth protecting. She looked at him for a long moment. The transmission window, she said. 36 hours, he said. The relay access point is in the secondary transit facility. If the window can be interrupted at the relay, the analysis center receives a partial record, sufficient to document the stumble, insufficient to document the stimulus, and the response with the detail the anomaly assessment requires. She looked at the operational assessment documentation. She looked at the 36-hour window and the secondary transit facility and the relay access point. The operation's current objectives do not include the secondary transit facility, she said. No, he said, they don't. The interruption is outside the operational mandate, she said. Yes, he said. She looked at him. Why are you recommending it, she said, the precise question. Not the operational question, the precise question about the reason underneath the operational framing. He looked at her steadily. Because the thing the transit hub showed is worth protecting, he said. Not the operational asset. The person in the 1.2 seconds. The thing that the full historical range of the Varath behavioral documentation had not contained, and that one word produced, and that you have been protecting with the management's full capacity for 6 days. He paused. The Keth identifying the stimulus gives them access to the thing you have been protecting. The relay interruption protects it instead. She was very still. The quality she had in the very still was not the operational quality and was not the management quality. It was the specific quality of someone who has received the naming of the thing that has been being protected and who is, in the naming, in the genuine space that the naming opened. You know what you are protecting, she said. Yes, he said. I know what I am protecting. She was quiet for a long moment. The interruption methodology, she said, the relay access. He gave it to her with the intelligence operative's precision. The specific, complete picture of the secondary transit facility's access infrastructure. The relay's location, the access methodology, the timing required within the 36-hour window. She assessed it with the field specialist's quality. Viable, she said. The access methodology requires the maintenance infrastructure approach. The Keth installation's maintenance cycle has a specific window. She paused. The joint operations current timeline is compatible. Yes, he said. Tonight, she said. Yes, he said. They planned it with the professional quality of the joint operations function. The intelligence methodology and the field operational knowledge combined with the specific, calibrated quality of 6 days of high-stakes proximate work. They planned it in the forward position with the operational quality fully present, and the ambient character that was not the operational quality present alongside it. The specific, genuine quality of two people who were in the professional work, and who were, underneath the professional work, in something that the professional work was being conducted alongside. The secondary transit facility had the functional quality of a Keth intelligence installation, built for the work, by people who understood the work, without consideration for anything other than the work's requirements. The maintenance infrastructure was accessed through the standard service entry. The specific, unremarkable quality of every service entry that served the function of allowing access to the systems that the facility's operational systems required. She moved through the maintenance infrastructure with the 12 years quality, the complete, efficient quality of someone for whom this specific kind of navigation was second nature, for whom unfamiliar technical spaces were familiar in the specific way of something that was always unfamiliar, and that had, in the always unfamiliar, become a familiar condition. She moved with the particular, focused quality of someone who had built the complete picture of the required access in the forward positions planning session, and who was, in the maintenance infrastructure, applying the complete picture with the completeness that the window's remaining time required. Kale moved with her, reading the installation's operational pattern against the database profile and the real-time data the movement was producing, feeding the relevant adjustments to the timing and the route with the quality that 7 years of fieldwork had built. The relay access point was where the planning had placed it. She accessed it. The specific, technical quality of the field specialist applying a thoroughly understood access methodology to the specific system, the methodology was for the precision and the efficiency of someone who had done the preparation, and who was, in the doing, applying the preparation completely. Her hands moved with the quality of someone whose hands knew what they were doing, and whose attention was on the complete picture, rather than on the individual actions the complete picture required. The transmission window closed. The behavioral anomaly observation's full record was interrupted at the relay. The Keth Intelligence Analysis Center would receive a partial record. The partial record would document the stumble. It would not document the stimulus and the response with the detail and the completeness that the behavioral anomaly assessment required. The thing the transit hub had shown was protected. They moved back through the maintenance infrastructure with the quality of the completed objective, the specific, present quality of the function concluded, and the aftermath's transitional space beginning. Moving back through the service corridor, back through the maintenance systems, back toward the service entry and the exterior and the operations remaining work. In the primary access corridor, the transitional space between the installation's interior systems and the exterior egress, the corridor that had the functional lighting of a space built for maintenance movement and nothing additional, she stopped. He stopped beside her. The corridor held them both in its functional quality. The service entry was ahead. The installation was behind. The specific between quality of the transitional space surrounded them with the ambient character of somewhere that was neither the function nor the recovery but the passage between them. She said, "Why did you say it?" He looked at her. "The word," she said. "In the transit hub, you said it without the filter engaging. The involuntary quality, the thing that said itself before the management could produce a different version." She looked at him with the full, direct quality of the precise question. Why that word? He looked at the corridor and the functional lighting and the service entry ahead of them and the closed window behind them and the specific, genuine quality of the question. "Because it was accurate," he said. She looked at him. "The stumble," he said. "The 1.2 seconds of the unguarded moment, the recovery." He paused. "In 7 years of intelligence field work, the unguarded moment is the moment I pay the most attention to. The unguarded moment is the window that opens before the management can close it. The thing the person didn't know they were showing. The thing that the professional quality and the operational quality and the full capacity of all the management hadn't covered." He looked at her. The unguarded moment in the transit hub showed something that the 14 documented operations and the galaxy-scale reputation and the full intelligence profile had not contained. "What did it show?" she said. "The genuine question, not the challenge, not the management. The specific, careful quality of someone who had made the decision to be in the genuine space and who was, in the making, asking from the real register. Someone who tripped on a floor panel in a transit hub," he said. "Whose reflexes were exceptional enough that the trip was a 1.2-second event, and who was, in the 1.2 seconds, entirely and completely the person rather than the function. The commander and the operations and the profile, not present. The person. The specific, unguarded, entirely genuine quality of someone who had caught their foot on a slightly raised floor panel and whose body was managing the catching with the efficiency that 12 years had built." He looked at her steadily. The person who was present in the 1.2 seconds was, the word arrived before the management engaged. The word was accurate. She was quiet for a moment. "Cute," she said. The word in the accord common language, spoken with the specific, careful quality of someone trying the word in the space where it had been said. Not receiving it this time, but saying it. Turning it in the genuine space's light, and finding it, in the turning, not the thing the management had been protecting against, but something else. "Yes," he said. "No one," she said, "has said that word to me." "No," he said, "I don't imagine they have." She looked at the corridor. She looked at the functional lighting and the service entry and the closed transmission window. "The management," she said, "the 6 days after the transit hub." Yes, he said. You read the management, she said. 7 years, he said. The management is visible to someone who knows what the management looks like. What does it look like? She said. The operational precision deployed at slightly above the level the operation requires, he said. The professional register at full capacity to ensure the professional register is the only register present. The specific, immediate quality of looking away when the attention arrives at the same point simultaneously. He looked at her. The management looks like someone protecting something. Not defending a presentation. Protecting something that is genuine, and that is the person's. And that is not the functions, and that is worth protecting, because it is the thing the transit hub showed, and that the 14 operations had not shown. The person in the 1.2 seconds, she said. Yes, he said. No one has seen that, she said. By the database's documentation, by the full historical range. No, he said, they haven't. She looked at the corridor one more time. The functional lighting, the maintenance infrastructure, the service entry, everything the operational environment was, and that would continue to be. The genuine thing activated the genuine thing, she said. Yes, he said. The word said itself, she said, because the 1.2 seconds were genuine. Yes, he said. And the genuine thing in you, she said, was the word. Yes, he said. She was quiet for a long moment with the quality of someone who has the complete picture, and who is, in the completeness, present in the genuine space with the full quality that the genuine space required. Not the management, not the professional register at full capacity, not the protection of the thing the transit hub had shown. The thing itself, present. Kale, she said, his name in the Varath personal register, not the operational designation, not the professional title, the name in the register of the genuine space. He looked at her. The management, she said. The 6 days of it. The full capacity deployed to ensure the professional register was the only register present. She paused. The management was protecting the thing the transit hub showed. Yes, he said. The thing the transit hub showed, she said, is, she stopped. The quality of someone at the edge of the genuine space finding that the edge required the decision to cross it and making the decision. Mine, she said. It is specific. It is the person in the 1.2 seconds, and it is not the 14 operations, and it is not the profile, and it is not the reputation. She looked at him. It has been mine, not visible, present but not visible. Yes, he said. You made it visible, she said. One word in the transit hub without the filter engaging. Yes, he said, and then you protected it, she said. The relay interruption, the 36-hour window. The operational mandate outside the current objectives. Yes, he said. She looked at him for a long time with the quality of someone who has been in the genuine space and who is, in the looking, seeing accurately. Not the intelligence operative, not the operative's function, not the 7 years or the joint operation or the professional quality. The person who had said one word without the filter engaging and who had then spent the 36-hour window protecting what the one word had produced. In 12 years of active field service, she said, the function has been the complete context. The operations and the reputation and the profile. The person in the 1.2 seconds has been present, has not been visible. She paused. You made it visible, and then you protected the visibility. Yes, he said. Why, she said. The genuine question. The one underneath the operational history and the relay interruption and the 36-hour window. The one that none of those things had answered. He looked at her with the 7 years quality. The quality of someone who had been in enough unguarded moments to understand what the unguarded moment was, and what it produced in the person who witnessed it with the full quality of the attention that unguarded moments deserved. Because the person in the 1.2 seconds was the most genuine thing I had seen in 7 years of noticing the thing people didn't know they were showing, he said. And the genuine thing, the specific, unguarded, entirely real quality of someone who was the person rather than the function in the 1.2 seconds, activated the same quality in me. The genuine thing in me was the word. The word said itself because the accurate thing says itself when it encounters the genuine thing and the filter hasn't engaged yet. He paused, and the genuine thing once visible is worth protecting, not because of what it reveals about the operational asset, because of what it is. Because it is yours and it is real and it is the thing that the 14 operations hadn't shown and that the 1.2 seconds showed and that deserved to be protected with the same quality that it was shown with. She was very still. The stillness was the genuine stillness, not the operational quality, not the management quality, not the 14 operations quality. The stillness of someone who has received something they have not received before and who is, in the receiving, entirely present in the receipt. The person in the 1.2 seconds, she said quietly. Yes, he said, is worth protecting, she said. Yes, he said, she looked at him. The management, she said, here in the corridor between the function and the exterior. Yes, he said, the management, she said, is not required here. No, he said, it's not. She looked at him with the full quality. Not the operational quality, not the 12 years quality, not the management quality. The underneath quality. The person in the 1.2 seconds, present in the corridor's genuine space with the deliberate quality of someone who had made the decision to be in it, and who was, in the making, being in it completely. Her face went slightly red. Not the transit hub's overwhelming, complete, involuntary quality. The specific, smaller quality of someone who was in the genuine space, and who was, in the being, present in the thing the transit hub had shown. The mechanism operating not because the management had failed, but because the genuine space did not require the management, and the genuine space was real and present, and the thing the management had been protecting was, in the corridor's functional lighting, simply there. He looked at the red. He found it. The word arrived again with the same quality as before, the accurate thing saying itself without the filter engaging, remarkable. He did not say it out loud. He filed it under the same category as the transit hub's 1.2 seconds, the most significant unguarded moment, the genuine space, the thing worth protecting. She looked at him. The word, she said. The slight, small quality of someone in the genuine space who was, in the looking, present in the thing the genuine space contained. Yes, he said. It was accurate, she said. Yes, he said. It is still accurate, she said. He looked at her with the full quality. The 7 years and the intelligence operative's formation, and the unguarded moment, and the word that had said itself, and the relay interruption, and the corridor, and the functional lighting, and all of it. The complete picture assembled from the complete attention. Yes, he said, it is still accurate. She looked at the service entry ahead of them. She looked at the operation's remaining objective, the outer system's tertiary intelligence target, the joint operations final requirement, the function's continuing demand. The tertiary target, she said, tomorrow's first hour. Yes, he said, the function continues, she said. Yes, he said, the management continues, she said. In the field, the function requires it. Yes, he said, the function requires it. She was quiet for a moment. Here, she said, the corridor, the genuine space. Yes, he said, the management, she said, is not required here. No, he said, it's not. She looked at him one more time. The full, real quality of the person in the 1.2 seconds, present in the corridor without management, without the professional register at full capacity, without the specific, careful deployment of the operational quality as the only quality present. Simply present, the way that genuine things were present when the management was not required and the genuine space was real. The service entry was ahead of them. The operation's remaining objective was tomorrow. The function would continue. And in the maintenance corridor's functional lighting, between the installation and the exterior, in the transitional space that was neither the function nor the recovery but the passage between them. 2 people stood in the genuine space with the full quality of 2 people who were in it. The intelligence operative who had said one word without the filter engaging, and the field commander whose face had gone the complete, unprecedented color of someone encountered by a stimulus outside the standard range, and who had, in the corridor, made the decision to be in the genuine space that the one word had opened. The red was present, smaller than the transit hub, real in the specific, quiet way of things that were present in the genuine space without the management over them. He looked at it. He filed it under. The most significant thing the 7 years had produced, not an unguarded moment, a genuine space. The specific difference between the two was, the unguarded moment was the window that opened before the management could close it. The genuine space was the window that stayed open because the person inside it had decided to leave it open. She had decided. He had said one word without the filter engaging, and she had made the decision. Outside, the contested outer system continued its operational character. The intelligence networks and the surveillance assets and the high-value targets and the behavioral anomaly databases all doing what they had been built to do. The work continuous and the theater unchanged, and the functions demands unaltered. Inside the corridor's functional lighting, the service entry was ahead. But the function could wait one more moment. The genuine space was present. The word had been accurate. The red was real. And in the specific, quiet quality of the corridor's transitional space, the person in the 1.2 seconds was visible. Not despite the management, not in the absence of the management, but in the presence of the genuine space that the management was not required for. Which was, as 7 years of noticing the unguarded moment had been building toward without knowing it, the most significant thing the unguarded moment could produce. Not the window, the door, left open.